Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
This is the next search on February 28, 2020, 7:44 p.m. How, does the FBI find people? And people is misspelled P-E-O-O-P-L-E.
I object.
Did the defendant find out how the FBI finds people in this case? Oh, she found out.
It's bigger than you. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than all of us.
All right, welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, barely recovering there. That was a little too high when I said my voice just gave up. It's like, don't do that again. Hope you had a great lunch. I went old school. And by old school, I mean I had an Uncrustable sandwich. Peanut butter and jelly Uncrustable sandwich. With a glass of milk. Just like my mama used to make them, only this didn't have crust. Hey, Lola's mom says I'm at Wendy's getting lunch right now. Ken Powell is standing in the background. See you there. Nothing wrong with the PB&J. It's the best part of the sandwich, the middle. It's pretty good. Can't believe crayons get a national day. That's why I sort of have the Uncrustables today. I think it's only fitting. A big shout out to Jennifer Juniper. Sorry, chat's on screen now. Jennifer Juniper, congratulations. You were first in chat this afternoon, which means we're going to punish you for your good deed. That's right. We're going to sentence you to internet ownership for the rest of the day. And we're going to be jumping back to court. We're going to be having fun. You're going to be busy working. That's just how it goes. You should have thought twice before you talked in chat before anyone else. Jennifer, you're going to be fine, though. Don't worry about it. Do you know why some of the courts are not active today? Yeah, it's National Crayon Day. National Crayon Day. And like, is it Cesar Chavez Day? There's a couple days happening today. I thought National Crayon Day was the big one, being a big fan of crayons myself. But everyone is filing back into court. We're in Warren County, Ohio, where we just stumbled across, well, Josh stumbled across this court case for us. And so we're watching this case. This is it's got some tough issues in it. It's got some domestic violence and a revenge beating for domestic violence. With baseball bats. So it's an interesting one. I had to leave another live for this exciting case. This is a crazy case. The victim in this case basically moved right back in with the defendant as soon as he got out of the hospital from the beating. They're back together. He doesn't want to testify. He's there under subpoena. Uncooperative, to say the least. And doesn't remember much of it, but also doesn't want to be a snitch, and subpoena forces him to be there. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's a good case. We have 5 or 6 defendants, which means each one has their own lawyer, and so every witness that comes up gets cross-examined 5 or 6 times, which is wild. Wild. It is Eiffel Tower Day for real as well. Yes, Eiffel Tower Day. That's wonderful. Let's see. No audio yet as we wait for the judge to come back. But looks good. Some of the defendants are there. Defense counsel, anyway. This is a spicy Monday court watching for short. Yes, tomorrow we're going to be back in Michigan with the trial, the quadruple threat trial. We'll be back there. Spring break day 1, no pickles were lost, says Kayla Newell. That's awesome. My kids are out riding ripsticks. If you don't know what a ripstick is, imagine a skateboard where the front and the back wheel all swivel, like can spin 360 degrees, and the board can pivot back and forth in the middle. So maybe it helps if I can show you. If only cameras were invented so I could show you what I'm talking about. The front and the back wheels, there's just one on the front, one on the back, and they swivel.
Case of the State of
And the
Ohio
board
versus
can do
Casey
this.
Sanchez, case number 22 CR 39891.
Sorry, Judge.
Present before the court is Mr. Sanchez, represented by Mr. Clark. We have Mr. View from the prosecutor's office and Officer Niemeyer from probation. We are here today for a final ILC violation hearing. Mr. Clark, does your client wish to have a contested hearing in this matter?
No, he's going to admit to the violation.
Mr. Sanchez, do you understand the rights you're giving up by admitting to this violation?
Yes, sir.
Is this what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
Do you admit or do you deny that you violated the terms of your ILC?
I admit.
Based upon your admission, I find you have violated the terms of your supervision. I am going to terminate the intervention in lieu of conviction. Mr. View, anything from the state?
No, Your Honor. I'll send you a corrected entry. The one I sent you is incorrect.
Okay.
Miss Hyatt's name on it.
Whoa.
Sometimes that's not important to people. Sometimes it is.
It is
Officer Niemeyer, anything from probation?
Nothing further, Your
We have 24 days of jail time credit. That sounds right to everybody?
Yes, Your Honor.
Works for me.
Mr. Clark?
Your Honor, just to reiterate that the defendant was headed to CBCF in Franklin County. He needs to serve an additional 4 to 6 months on that charge, on those new charges for robbery. Just ask that the court allow him to go back to Franklin County and handle his obligations there as soon as possible.
Anything you want to tell me, Mr. Sanchez?
Not exactly, sir, no.
All right, what I'm going to do, Mr. Sanchez, is I'm going to put you into my community control program for a period of 1 year. I'm going to order that you serve 60 days in the county jail, and I'm going to credit you the 24 days that you have already done. That means that you have some local time to do here for me. When you're done with that, I then am going to order that you enter into and successfully complete the CBCF, the Community-Based Corrections Facility.
The one out in Franklin, right?
Wherever it is that you're going.
Okay, yeah.
If you do both of those things, then I'm going to successfully terminate you from community control, which means when you get out of the CBCF, we really don't want you back here in Warren County, probably as much as you don't want to be back here in Warren County.
Yeah. No
so I'm going to terminate your supervision when you are done with us after you complete the CBCF. If you do not successfully complete the community-based corrections facility, then you're going to come back to me and we're going to talk about what else might happen to you as a result of this case.
Okay.
I'm not going to impose a fine. I am going to impose the costs. If you violate the terms of your supervision or you leave the state without permission, I could sentence you to up to the maximum penalty in this case, which is 12 months in prison, and the optional period of post-release control of up to 2 years. Is there anything else we need to do or anything that I forgot?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you do have the right to appeal this to the 12th District Court of Appeals in Middletown. If you don't have the funds to hire a lawyer, to obtain a transcript, or to pay the cost, they'll all be provided to you at no charge. After 36 days, you're going back to Columbus. Hopefully you won't be back here and you and I won't see each other anymore.
Okay.
Good luck to you, Mr. Sanchez. You got a question?
Yeah, just want to clarify completely. So another 36 days here, so the 60 days, and then I go do the CBCF, and then I don't have anything else for this county?
That is true, yes.
Okay, yeah, just wanted to
I
clarify.
think we have to do a transfer, a courtesy transfer, maybe. I don't know. Should I put him on?
Clarify that with Franklin County.
Maybe put him on non-reporting probation? Is that easier?
I don't think it matters either way.
Doesn't matter to me. Okay. All right, we'll figure it out. All right, thank you.
Your Honor.
Next is the case of the State of Ohio versus for CR 41464. Present before the court is Ms. Moses, represented by Mr. Clark. And we have Ms. Hyatt from the prosecutor's office. We are here today for a pretrial, a scheduling conference, and a bond hearing.
Just a few minutes.
With regard to the pretrial, we've had the opportunity to talk about the case a little bit. It is my understanding, Mr. Clark, that you want a week or so to go through some discovery, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So we'll reset the case for another pretrial in a couple of weeks. And what do you want to tell me about the issue of bail?
Your Honor, I just would ask that she be allowed to go into an inpatient program. I believe she's been accepted in Full Circle. She would acknowledge that she does, in fact, need the treatment. She has a few drug charges on her record, and she really needs to get the help. And since Full Circle has accepted her, I just would like her to be able to get that treatment sooner than later. I know she does have an issue kind of looming in Montgomery County as well that we have to deal with. So,
anything you want to tell me, Ms. Moses?
mentioned that I really do want to go to treatment, and Montgomery County, I'm pretty sure they have agreed to, like, when I went to court last, they OR'd me, but they was agreeing to me going to treatment too.
So, Ms. Moses, I'm not going to change your bail. I'm going to continue to hold you without bond in the case, but hopefully we're going to get back here in a week or so Mr. Clark can figure out if there's a defense to this or if Ms. Hyatt is going to be able to prove the things that have been alleged against you. If there is a plea of guilty to the charge in the next couple of weeks, my plan would be to release you to Montgomery County, get your stuff taken care of there, put a holder on you, have you come back here, we do a sentencing, and I send you over to some place like Full Circle so that we can get that done. That's sort of my vision for the case, but I really don't know what else we have. I can't send you right over there because you got a holder in Montgomery County, and I am not going to release you from my jail until my cases have been resolved. So if you want to exercise your right to a trial, that's fine. We'll get you a trial. If you're found not guilty of this, we don't have to worry about it. If you're found guilty of it during after a trial, we'll figure out what impact that has on the plan after that. Do you understand all of that? All right, I'll see you in a week or so.
A week or so.
Time at all,
Are we doing a time waiver, Mr. Clark?
I don't believe so. I think we should have this resolved by May 24th.
If we set it in a week or so, we'll be fine.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Can we get our big hearing?
All right, let's take a break and plan on spinning back up as soon as we can get folks here. Okay?
They're on the way in, Bill.
They're on the way in. Bailiff's going to bring everybody else in. Defendants will be showing up. Attorneys and everything. That was just a couple quick cases on the docket they had to clear up during the break. We are still not back with the trial. We'll be back in here just a minute. If that's granite, they could roll scoops of ice cream on it. It's a massive granite backdrop. All right. I was telling you, my kids were riding these ripsticks. Oh, he brought the cables back. That's nice of you, sir. Nobody could use those while you were gone. You had everything. And still, his laptop is not in his bag. It's just cables. Oh, and another laptop. He has 2 laptops. He doesn't let them commingle in case they accidentally share files. All right. They ride these ripsticks, and you have to balance. You can't just stand on like a skateboard and not move, because you'd fall over. Because there's just a single wheel in the front that pivots, rolls, and twists, and so you have to sort of go, and you sort of use like a little carvy snake motion to keep going. I think they call it carving, but they're agile enough that on a regular sized sidewalk, they can be zipping along and turn a U-turn without ever going off the sidewalk. And they don't fall off either. It's pretty impressive. I don't know if he's going to he'd probably rule pretty quickly. Because closing arguments aren't evidence, right? So closings are probably going to be pretty short in this sort of case. Sloth life. The abnormal heart rate alert for my Apple Watch is how I know it's working. I'm debating including a heart rate monitor on the screen, maybe for another live stream I'm going to be doing for jump scares and things like that, so you can see when you scared me. Do the ripsticks come with autopilot ER routes? Asking for a friend. I wish. They should come with helmets for the adults who try to ride them. I can do it. Like if you put me in like a nice indoor gymnasium, completely smooth floor, and give me a good push, I can sort of glide and turn and then jump off. But that's about it. Heart rate spikes every time you hear a truck pass the pole. They've moved the pole now. It's in a better position. I think our stop sign will get hit again, but the pole is done. I think that's the victim's dad right there in the white jacket sitting there in the back.
All right, we are back on the record. Counsel, you may resume.
Cross-examination of state's witness, who was the driver of the ant.
My name is Edward Kathman. I represent Zoe Matthews. Now, you said you were aware that your nephew Vinny and Tiffany were in a relationship, correct?
Correct.
A couple years?
Correct.
And you were able to view this relationship? I mean, spend time with them while they were in the relationship? How would you describe the relationship?
Off and on.
What do you mean by that?
Highs and lows, goods and bads. Good relationship.
Okay. And did you have an opportunity to observe Vinny with Zoe?
Yes.
Okay. They appear like they got along okay to you?
Yes.
Okay. Did did it appear to you that they liked each other?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you went over your text messages with the prosecutor on direct examination. You recall doing that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. In those text messages, it appeared that Tiffany was indicating to you that she was looking for Vinny, correct?
Yes.
There was no stated purpose as to why she wanted to find him, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You had indicated at one point that that it was your idea, correct me if I'm wrong, to take Vinny to his mother's house. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that you didn't want the drama at your house, correct?
Correct.
Okay. This was your assertion from what you saw and heard that morning, correct?
Correct.
You have no other evidence or nothing else that you can offer that led you to believe that anything sinister and nefarious was going to happen, do you?
No.
It was just your thoughts?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you said a black car was following you all the way out, correct?
Correct.
And that was the only car following you, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you were watching that car all the way out, correct?
Yes.
And you would have known if there were other cars following that car, correct?
I like to think I would, yes.
Okay. Well, so you were, but I mean, you were on alert.
Yes, for that car.
Okay. And that's why you did the U-turn at your sister's street, right?
Yes.
And went back out to Innovation Way.
Socialville Foster first, yes.
Well, Socialville Foster, okay, yes. And it was at that point that the car driven by Tiffany pulled up next to yours, correct?
Yes.
And then the Jeep, the bigger vehicle, the SUV pulled up behind that car, correct?
It was in front of her car.
Well, okay, so they were right.
Yes.
Okay, right by your car. And then it was a time after that that the black car arrived, correct?
I don't know what black car you're referring to.
The black car that was
That
following
was there
you.
first.
That was there first.
That's what I assume, yes.
Okay, so it's your testimony that the black car was there first.
That's the one I paid attention to. I didn't pay attention to the others first, so yes.
But you did see the white cars when they pulled up alongside.
Once they was parked and getting out the car, yes.
Okay. Okay, but there was a time gap in between, correct?
No.
They all arrived at the same time?
Yes.
Okay, and you weren't blocked in, were you?
In the beginning, yes.
Why do you say in the beginning?
Because I was at a stoplight and there was a car in front of me and there was a car behind me and they were on the side of me.
Okay. So how did the black car block you in if there was a car in front of you?
They was right here on the left of me. There's a car in front of me. I'm the second car. It's 3 cars lined up on to the right, to my left.
Okay. So when the car in front of you was able to go, then you weren't blocked in anymore?
No, that's when I was able to turn.
Okay. All right.
But everybody was out of the car by then.
Understood.
Okay.
So, but the 3 cars that you are saying came up, none of them per se blocked you in. It was the car that was stopped in front of you.
Correct.
Okay. Can I have a second?
You may.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Mr. Hughes?
Thank you.
Afternoon, Ms. Scales. Kevin Hughes, represent Tiffany Park. You said that you described the relationship as on and on, off on and off.
Yes.
And it's typical when Vinny and Tiffany get in a fight that he comes to your place first, correct?
Correct.
So that's not out of the ordinary.
No.
And so the message that you received that said, "I'm pissed, I'm not highly upset," that doesn't really raise any concern to you either, does it?
No.
When you're at Innovation Way, you're at that stoplight, Vinny jumps out the car first. He's out of his car first before anyone else gets out of the car.
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Did Tiffany get out of the car to engage
I saw
him?
Tiffany out the car, yes. Because I didn't even know she was next to me until I guess, I don't know who hopped out the car first. I see him out the car yelling over my car at her, and she's also out of the car.
And she's yelling at him?
Yes.
With nothing in her hands, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, I have no further questions, Judge.
Mr. Kramer?
No questions.
Mr. Bennett?
Just got a few questions, Judge. Good afternoon, miss.
Good afternoon.
It's a tall guy. He's like a giant of a man.
You said at some point on, I guess it was Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning, you're on the phone with Tiffany on August 24th?
Yes.
And you're on the phone with her, correct?
Yes.
And then you said you were asked a question, did you hear somebody else besides her? Remember that question?
Yes.
And then you said you heard some guy say something,
Yes.
right? And the person you heard was a male,
Yes.
correct? Okay. And you didn't hear anybody else, correct?
Correct.
All right. So you heard Tiffany and another male individual, right?
Yes.
Okay, and isn't it true that nothing prevented your operation of your motor vehicle that day? That Saturday afternoon, when you're on Innovation Drive here in Warren County, nothing prevented you from doing whatever you wanted to do with your motor vehicle, did it? You understand my question?
Yes.
Right. So like if I'm in my car and I'm operating it and I want to move this way or I want to leave, nothing stopped you from doing it, did
The car in front of me did.
And the car in front of you was a person that has nothing to do with
Correct.
this. They were just at a traffic light.
Correct.
So for example, if I'm driving in Warren County and there's a red light and there's a car in front of me, I can't go through that car if the car stopped, right?
Correct.
Right. But once that car leaves, I can leave, right?
Correct.
And then you were able to operate your car in any capacity that you wanted to, right?
Correct.
And you did that day, right?
Correct.
So nobody blocked you, correct?
Correct.
No further questions.
Mrs. Strauss?
I have no questions.
Seems pretty pleased
Anything
getting that
else for
answer.
this witness? Hell yeah. Thank you, ma'am. You can sit down. Next witness?
Peggy Vinegar, Your Honor.
Another Vinegar name. That's be family members of the victim.
Any reason why Ms. Scales cannot remain in the courtroom? We're done with her, right?
I have no objection from the statement.
Okay.
You swear or affirm that the testimony you give in these proceedings will be the truth and will be the truth.
Yes.
You may be seated.
It's a smart looking jacket.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Could you give the court your name, please?
Peggy Vinegar.
And just go ahead and spell that for our court reporter, please.
First and last?
Yeah, go ahead.
Peggyvinegar.
And are you the mother of Timothy Vinegar?
Yes.
You refer to him as Vinny?
Yeah, I don't call him that.
Do you know others that do?
Yes.
Okay. What do you call him?
Timmy.
Timmy.
Back on August 24th of 2024, where did you know him to be living at?
Oh God, I don't know.
I don't need an address. Do you have an area?
With Tiffany in the Coleraine area, off Galbraith Street, yeah.
And you said he was living with Tiffany?
Yeah, for the last couple of years. They've been together for 2.5 years.
Is that Tiffany Parks?
Yes.
And did anybody else live with him and Tiffany?
Her children.
And is one of those Zoe Matthews?
Yes.
Other than Tiffany and Zoe, are you familiar with any other members of their family?
Yes.
Tiffany? Okay. Who would that be?
Her son, Zarian, her mother. I met her cousin, had been to my home, Brittany. She's been to my home.
Okay, and Brittany, is that Brittany Matthews?
Yes.
Okay. On the late morning or early afternoon of August 24th, 2024, did you have any communications with Tiffany Parks?
Yes.
Tell the court about that. When was that?
It was after 9. I got a phone call from Tiffany, and she was telling me that her and Timmy was into it. They was having a falling out, and she was very upset and saying that she was going to get him, and she was riding around with her daughter and her gun looking for him, and I tried to talk to her, calm her down.
How did you react? How did she react to you talking to her and trying to calm her down?
Oh, she just kept saying, no, he's got to get it. Yeah, he hit my daughter, and she's got to do something about it. And no, she's not letting it go.
Were these multiple phone calls, or was it just one?
Seemed like it was just one kind of long conversation, but I may have talked to her again. I tried to make sure I say the the phone call list, but it left my phone, so.
What did you do in response to that call from Tiffany?
Well, I actually thought that after we had talked, I thought maybe she had calmed down, and I thought it might be over with.
Did you try to reach out to Timmy at all?
Yes, but he didn't answer.
Okay. Did you do anything else at that point?
I called my sister, I think, but no. Because like I said, I'm thinking it's over. He had left the home. I thought that I had talked to her. I was trying to console her. I said, well, if something is wrong with you and your daughter, go home, see about your daughter. That's what I was telling her. Just go home, see about your daughter. You were riding around looking for him. I'm like, just go home and take care of yourself and take care of your daughter. And if something is, he have anything of yours, then I'll make sure you get it.
Where were you at when you were receiving those phone calls that morning?
I was at home. It was early, like I said, 9:30ish.
And your home is where?
My home is in Mason, Deerfield Township.
Did you learn later that morning that there were additional concerns with regard to Timmy?
Yes, when my sister called and said that she was being...
Object to what her sister said.
I'm going to allow it for the limited purpose of explaining why these folks are doing what they are doing and for no other purpose. So your sister, go ahead, that means you...
She called me and said that she had been followed, that Timmy had got to her house and she was bringing him to me, to our home. And she said that when she saw a car following her, she left. She pulled out of the subdivision. She didn't want to bring him home. And so would we just come and pick him up? She was going to take him to the nearest gas station.
Now, were you at home alone?
No, my husband was home. My grandchildren were home.
Okay. And so did you give any instructions based on what your sister was telling you they were doing?
She just said, no, I didn't give, did I give any instructions?
Well, like, did you say where to go or do anything like that?
Maybe I told her to take him to the gas station because she didn't really know the area.
Okay. Did you communicate any of these conversations to anybody else that was with you that morning or afternoon? That early afternoon, I guess, at this point.
No.
So I mean, to your husband or to?
Oh, yeah, because he was going to go and get him. He was going to go pick him up.
Did you or he ever make it to a gas station?
No, because once she left our subdivision, she really didn't know how to tell us where she was. She didn't really know the area. And Timmy overheard her telling me that they were being followed.
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled. I'm going to allow it again for the limited purpose of explaining what's going on. Go ahead.
He overheard her telling me that she felt that he overheard her telling me that she had been followed. So that's when he got concerned. He was like, well, Auntie, why didn't you tell me? And so.
And you could hear this on the phone call with your sister, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you then learn of an incident that occurred shortly thereafter?
Yes.
How did you learn of that?
She was on the phone. She was hysterical. And she couldn't tell me where she was. And I just said, well, call 911. I'm going to call 911.
And so where did you next see Timmy?
At the hospital.
Which hospital?
Bethesda North.
Okay. And tell us about that. Tell us what you saw, what condition he was in when you saw him there.
It was horrible. I saw him strapped from head to toe, unconscious, in and out of consciousness, bleeding, blood everywhere. A mother's nightmare, worst nightmare, I guess, other than seeing your child dead or something.
Where did he remain at Bethesda North?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make...
He was at Bethesda North until they airlifted him to university.
Okay, so you were with him at Bethesda North first?
Yes.
Before they made arrangements to airlift him down to University Hospital, correct?
Yes.
And did you see him again at University Hospital after that?
Yes, I stayed with him for the time he was there, yeah.
Did you stay with him the entire time? I mean...
No, I would leave like maybe 2 or 3 in the morning and come home and then come right back. But yeah, I was with him.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Vinegar. No further questions, sir.
Mr. Lewis?
Respectfully, nothing, Judge. Thank you.
Mr. Kaufman?
Good afternoon, Ms. Vinegar. How are you?
I'm a little upset, a little uncomfortable.
Let's get to that. You were upset about the injuries that you saw to your son, weren't you?
Yes.
And you were obviously you were mad about it, weren't you?
No.
Okay. You're not mad about it now?
No.
Okay. You said the first phone call came at 9 a.m.
No, more like 9:30ish.
Okay, so when you said
I'm not quite sure on the time, but around 9:30. It was after 9.
Okay. And it was from Tiffany, and she said that her and Timmy got into it and that she was upset with him, correct?
No, she was telling me that he was going to get it, and she was riding around looking for him with her gun and her daughter. And I said, Tiffany, go home. If something happened, if your daughter is not okay, you're not okay, go see about yourself. Don't be riding around looking for him.
Sounds to me like you thought it was very possible that your son did some damage to Tiffany and her daughter, didn't you?
No, I didn't think that.
You didn't?
I thought that, well, I know that over the years and months, she was abusive.
Who was abusive?
Tiffany was.
Oh, so you don't believe that it was possible that your son assaulted his girlfriend and her daughter earlier that
I know
morning?
he is argumentative. I know he argues.
Okay, so you said that Tiffany told you she was riding around with her daughter and her gun looking for him.
Yes.
At 9:30 in the morning.
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever talk? When's the first time you talked to your sister, Paulette?
I'm not completely sure.
Well, you know Paulette lives close to Tiffany, correct?
Of course I know what my sister did.
Okay, well, why wouldn't you call your sister and say, hey, Tiffany's riding around with a gun and her daughter is going to do Timothy harm. Why don't you live, let me finish. You live close, why don't you go find him?
Because my sister has her life and she has a 15-year-old child. Why would I ask her to go look for an upset woman with a gun?
Well, you wouldn't if you
And
didn't.
I was thinking that I had calmed Tiffany down. I didn't have any reason to involve anyone. I didn't even call the police to report her, what she said to me. So why would I call my sister?
I don't know.
You're reaching.
I get to ask the questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, could it be because what you're saying here today is not accurate? That after you saw the condition of your son, that your anger caused you to make this up?
When did I, after I saw my son?
Let's everybody take a break here.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, Mr. Kaufman is going to ask questions.
Okay.
And you're going to answer those questions to the best of your ability.
Okay.
If you don't understand his question, you can ask him to rephrase it. That's allowed.
Okay.
If you have any other questions, ask me, not him.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Go ahead and rephrase your question.
Isn't it true that the reason that you sat here today and said that Tiffany was riding around with her daughter and a gun trying to do your son harm to get him was because you got so upset after you saw his condition later that day?
No, it is not.
Okay, well,
my phone records show that Tiffany called me. Now, it doesn't show what the conversation was, but I had phone records and I gave them to the detective to show that she had called me. I didn't know there was an incident until she called me.
And as a result of this call, where you now tell us that your son was in this grave danger, you did nothing. Is that what you're telling us?
Exactly. I was too busy praying and seeing about my son.
Okay.
I'm not a vengeful person.
You're not a vengeful person.
And I'm not even, I wasn't angry. I was sorry and hurt.
Okay. Do you have any idea why she would tell you what she intended to do? Any idea at all?
Tiffany and I, we were family. We were in a relationship. So it was not that unusual for us to even have conversations, for us to be, we were a family before all this happened.
Mm-hmm. Not a family anymore, are you?
What?
Are you? Do you consider her family anymore?
Hold on.
I don't understand what he's saying.
Okay, he's going to ask another question then.
You said that you were a family, meaning you, Tiffany, Timothy, and I'm assuming others, correct?
Yes.
Do you consider her to be in your family now?
I haven't seen her since this happened. I haven't seen her, so no, I do not.
Okay. Now, Tiffany has called you to come and get Timothy from her residence before, hasn't she?
Yes.
Okay. And your normal response, and correct me if I'm wrong, come and get him, he's causing a problem. Your response would be, well, honey, that's love. Is that what you normally would tell Tiffany?
No.
Okay.
What? I don't understand how that would be considered love.
I agree. Did you call your niece that lived on Blanchetta and say, hey, why don't you look for Timothy? There's some problem between him and Tiffany.
No.
Okay. So as a result of this call, you did absolutely nothing.
I talked to Tiffany.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Mr. Hughes, you may inquire.
When you talk to Tiffany, well, first of all, Kevin Hughes on behalf of Tiffany Parks. But when you talk to Tiffany, you said, I'll bring you your stuff.
No, not stuff. She was concerned about a key, and I said, oh, I'll, get you your key.
To the car, to an Audi.
Yes.
Because she called you because I need the stuff out of the trunk for my son's football game, agreed?
No, she never mentioned that. Never mentioned it. She only told me, she called me to tell me that she was looking for him with her daughter and her gun. And then she added that she wanted her key. She never mentioned anything about football.
You've never seen a gun that she owns, have you?
No.
You don't know that she owns a gun, do you?
No.
No further questions, Joe.
Mr. Kramer?
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Bennett?
Pass, Your Honor. No questions.
Mrs. Strowski?
No questions.
Anything else for this witness?
Not from the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. You can step down. You're free to go.
Or stay as you wish.
Next witness?
Thank you.
testimony you will provide in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
I think he needs more gear on his belt. He's packing light today.
Good afternoon, officer. Would you go ahead and state your name for the court, please?
Officer Jamen Miller.
And go ahead and spell that for the court reporter.
Jamen Miller.
And how are you employed, sir?
I'm a patrol officer with the City of Mason.
How long have you been with the City of Mason?
Approximately 6 years.
Were you employed with any other agencies before Mason?
I was not.
Okay, so your entire career has been with Mason as a police officer, correct?
Yes, sir.
Were you on duty on the day of August 24th, 2024, shortly after noon that day?
I was.
Working patrol?
Yes.
Did you have the opportunity to respond out to the intersection of Innovation Way and I-71 that afternoon?
I did.
And what was the purpose for responding there?
We were dispatched to a assault at that intersection of Innovation and I-71.
And how many other officers arrived with you?
Several. It was myself, Officer Painter, Officer Hoskins, Sergeant Fantini. I believe that was it. There might have been another one.
That location, is that in Warren County, state of Ohio?
It is.
If you would, go ahead and describe to the court what you observed upon your arrival at that scene.
When I arrived on scene, there was a male subject laying in front of me off into the grass area. He was laying face down. I approached him, and he was bleeding from the head. He was bleeding from his legs around his knees. I began to render some aid to him, speak with him, give him some encouragement, and tried to ask him questions like what happened and stuff like that. He was not really able to speak with me at all. He was more just making groans. And then at that time, while I was checking him for injuries, the squad was just up the road, so I had advised dispatch to have the squad approach and start treating the male.
While that was going on, were there other witnesses to what had occurred prior to that?
There was. There was a female that was driving in a vehicle with the victim, and then there was other witnesses that were just at that intersection at the time. Officer Hoskins began speaking with them.
And you gathered whatever information you could from those folks that were on the scene, is that
We
correct?
did witness statements, photos, videos, things like that.
What did you do upon acquiring all of that information?
Once we gathered all that information, I notified our supervisor at the time what we had, just Sergeant Fantini. Once the scene was cleared, we responded back to our police department to start reviewing footage and meet with Detective Lieutenant Lyons at the time.
Were potential suspects for anything that happened to that individual identified that afternoon?
They were.
And how is that?
Through photos, videos of license plates of the vehicles that they used to travel there. And then once that information was passed out, Colerain PD advised that they had some of those suspects at their police department.
One of the defendants is wearing a mask.
Those two people
You
were
see right there on the
Tiffany
screen.
Parks and Zoe Matthews.
Did you then, what actions, if any, did you take as it relates to securing the two of those individuals?
Myself and Officer Painter responded to Colerain PD. We took custody of those two females, and Officer Painter transported them back to our police department.
Was there also a motor vehicle that was associated with them that was obtained that day as well?
There was a white Ford Fusion that was on the scene at the PD, as well as in those video footage from the incident.
Now, did you transport either of them back to Mason?
I did not.
Why is that?
While on scene at Colerain PD, Springfield Township advised they had our other vehicle, which was a white Jeep, also at the scene of that incident. They had located at 824 Northern Parkway, I believe was the address, and they had that vehicle there. So at that time, Officer Painter responded back to our police department with the two females I had called Detective Lieutenant Lyons at that time, let him know what information I had gotten, and he had me respond to that secondary location to attempt to tow that vehicle back to our impound lot. And then from there, that's where I went.
So other than the vehicle, that white Jeep Cherokee, did you also obtain or find any suspects there as well?
We did.
And who was that?
Brittany Matthews was another one of our suspects. She was located at 824 Northern Parkway. Springfield and Coleraine had taken her already, or detained her by the time I arrived on scene.
While you were at 824 Northern Parkway,
whoa, then it exploded.
Did you have any conversation or contact with anyone else at that scene or at that residence?
Drivers
tell us about that, please.
While I was having the tow truck arrive to the scene to seize that second vehicle, the Jeep, one of the Springfield and officers and Coleraine officers advised me while they were there prior to my arrival that they
Object to what they said.
Overruled. Go ahead.
That they saw a African-American male moving back and forth from the house that they had located that vehicle at, that matched the description of another male in the video footage and evidence.
Did you then approach the house?
I did. I spoke to the homeowner and asked if there was another male in the house. She denied that there was. I then informed her that officers saw another male go into the house and if she could just politely ask him to come outside. She did oblige me at that point and asked for the male to come out. I spoke with the male briefly, just asking if he would mind identifying himself. He did refuse. At that time, I walked back to my cruiser to transport Brittany Matthews back. When I did, I just asked her if she knew who that was, and she said it was her cousin Derek Floyd.
So, other than her statement, have you learned who Derek Floyd is, who he looks like at this point in time?
Just from speaking with him, yeah.
Well, I mean, you know that was indeed Derek Floyd, independently of her telling you that was Derek Floyd.
Just by her telling me, yes, it matched the description of the video, and I assumed that to be Derek Floyd at the time.
Okay. So the male that was there matched the video of the man you saw at the scene of the assault?
Yes, sir.
We have a video of the fight. It's pretty brutal. About 6 people versus one guy. There were 2 baseball bats involved.
Number 12.
He was beaten unconscious. Didn't wake up till the second hospital he was taken to. Did survive. Didn't require any major surgeries either. Just spent some time in the hospital. Now it's back on the mend.
Should we call
Here's
the
the video.
And is this the video to which we are referring?
Yes, sir.
How is he not, like, unconscious yet?
He is with the next strike. Now he's unconscious.
He is now. Call the cops again.
Yes.
I would.
He's not okay.
Yeah, call the cops.
And the individual that you saw that afternoon at that Northern Parkway, did you see him in that video?
Yes.
Which person was he?
He was wearing the blue shirt.
A domestic violence situation, an altercation between Tiffany and the victim, where
Over the questions, officer. Thank you.
Where the victim spit in Tiffany's face and punched.
Hold on a second. We got to go around the horn here. Mr. Cockman, Mr. Hughes,
No questions from me.
Mr. Kramer.
Just a couple. Officer, you would agree with me that the video you just watched, that's not the first incident that happened that day, correct?
What do you mean, sir?
You later learned that there was a confrontation that occurred moments before that, correct?
At the time of observing the video?
At any point?
The information that I had at the time, that they were stopped in traffic and once at that traffic light, multiple subjects got out of a vehicle and approached the vehicle that the victim was in. And at that point, a fight began, was the information I had.
No further questions.
Mr. Bennett?
No questions, Your Honor.
Mrs. Shosky?
No questions.
Anything else for this witness? Mr. Harden?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. You can step down. Next witness?
Lieutenant Scott Lyons, Your Honor.
That L table is a lot of the defense attorneys.
I do.
Sharp-dressed detective.
Good afternoon, Lieutenant. Would you go ahead and
Lieutenant, sorry.
say your name for the court, please?
Yes, my name is Scott Lyons.
Go ahead and spell that for a court reporter.
Scottylyons.
And how are you employed, sir?
I'm a lieutenant with the City of Mason Police Department.
How long have you been with the City of Mason Police Department?
I've been with the city a little over 8 years.
And employed anywhere else prior to that?
Yes, I was a state trooper with the State Highway Patrol for about 4.5 years before coming to Mason.
And your current position with the Mason Police Department is what?
I'm the support lieutenant, so I oversee some support functions within the police department, the main of those being the investigations unit.
And how long have you been in that particular role?
About a little over 2 years.
So back on August 24, 2024, that was your position, correct?
Yes, sir.
And what does that mean? What are those day-to-day duties like for you as a lieutenant?
So I will, specifically with the investigations unit, I oversee and direct investigations of individual cases, assign cases as they come in. Also because as we are a little bit of a smaller unit, I will occasionally handle cases myself and occasionally be the on-call detective a couple times a week.
On this particular day, August 24th of 2024, were you on duty around a little afternoon that day?
I was on call, yes.
And did you get called in?
I did.
Why were you called in?
So at about 12:30, I received a call from Sergeant Fantini. He was the road supervisor that day. He advised me that they had responded to an assault where an individual had been assaulted with baseball bats and had sustained serious injuries. The information that he had at the time was limited. He just knew that the suspects had fled the scene and that the individual was being transported to Bethesda North Hospital. So I told him I would respond in and go to the hospital.
So where did you respond to first?
Bethesda North.
And did you have the opportunity to meet with Timothy Vinegar at Bethesda North?
I did, but he was not conscious when I arrived there. He was kind of strapped to the hospital bed, had a neck brace on. I observed some injuries on his persons. He appeared to have a cut over his eyebrow and appeared to be bleeding from the back of his head and some blood coming out of his ear. Also had some abrasions on some of his limbs. So I didn't really manipulate him due to his position to look for additional injuries. I just took photographs of him as he was. But I was not able to speak with him at the time.
Did you speak with anyone else while you were there?
I spoke with his mother, Peggy.
And was she able to give you any information as it relates to what had occurred or what had happened to bring Timothy to that position?
Objection.
Sustained.
After speaking with Ms. Vinegar, what next action did you take?
So I had been provided the video that we have seen in the courtroom after I arrived at the hospital by officers on scene. I spoke with Ms. Vinegar, who told me that she was not on scene when this occurred, but she said that she had some familiarity with some of his associates.
Yeah, I'm going to object to anything
Overruled.
else Ms. Vinegar said.
Overruled. Go ahead.
I played Ms. Vinegar a portion of the video that just showed some of the individuals involved, and she was able to identify two of them as Tiffany Parks and Zoe Matthews.
Did you also have any other information from the scene that would corroborate either one of those individuals as people that were involved or at the area of Innovations Parkway and I-71 that afternoon?
Yes, at the time I was notified by officers that they had been able to successfully identify 2 of the 3 vehicles involved. One was a Ford Fusion with an Ohio personalized plate, black child, that came back to Tiffany Parks' mother as the registered owner. And then there was a Jeep involved as well that they were able to successfully identify that had a license plate of GBH 7106. And that came back to Miss Brittany Matthews. Utilizing that information and then also the footage and photos from the scene, we were able to confirm the identity of those 3 individuals.
So so we're on the same page. I want to show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit number 12. And is this the video that you were referring to that you had access to and obtained that particular day?
Yes, sir.
How is he not like unconscious yet?
I'm going to show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit number 4. Can you tell us what that is?
So that is the Jeep that was involved in the incident on Innovation Way. To the left there is the registered owner, Brittany Matthews.
Well, there's 2 people to the left of the Jeep.
I apologize. To the far left, in the navy blue scrubs, is Brittany Matthews. And then to the right of Brittany Matthews, in a running stance back towards that direction, is Zoe Matthews.
And this was a photograph that was obtained by Mason at the scene that particular day, correct?
Correct, sir.
And they got a pretty good shot of the license plate of that particular Jeep?
Yes.
My contractor friend's here to look at the bathroom to see if I've messed everything up. So I'm going to step away for just a minute.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit number 1. Can you tell us what that is a photograph of?
So this is another photo I was provided. This is Brittany Matthews, once again, kind of in the same frame as the rear of her Jeep.
When you say you were provided by other officers, this particular photograph?
Yes, sir.
And so we're looking at State's Exhibit number 7 on top of that. Does that look familiar to you as well?
Yes, the previous photo you had up appears to be a zoomed in image of this photo.
So State's Exhibit 7 and State's Exhibit 1 correlate together.
Correct.
This is just a zoomed image of number 1.
Correct.
Looking at State's Exhibit number 2, can you identify that photograph for me?
Yes, so once again, this is the Jeep owned by Brittany Matthews. To the far left in the navy blue scrubs is Brittany Matthews, the owner of that Jeep. In front of that vehicle, you can't see the plate, but that is the Ohio personalized plate I was talking about. That is a Ford Fusion, and that is D'Amber Mitchell getting into the passenger seat of that car.
And again, that was a photo that was provided to the Mason Police Department from an individual at the scene, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then State's Exhibit number 3, can you identify this image for us, please?
Yes, sir. This is another photograph that was provided to the police officers on scene. The female to the left in the green shirt is Tiffany Parks. The shirtless male holding the bat is Corey Matthews. And then Brittany Matthews is also in this photo as well, to the right in the navy scrubs.
And so I want to show you State's Exhibit number 6. Does that photograph look familiar to you as well?
Yes, the one you just had up is a zoomed in photo of this shop.
So State's Exhibit number 6 correlates with State's Exhibit number 3 as far as 3 is a zoomed-in shot on 6.
That's correct, sir.
When were you able to ever speak to a Paulette Scales?
I was.
And where did that take place at?
I interviewed her. I called her after I left the hospital and asked her to come to the police department. So she arrived there shortly after I arrived back, and I interviewed her in one of the detective interview rooms.
And following review of the video, photographs that were taken at the scene, conversation with Ms. Scales, were you involved in directing individuals to try to reach out to anybody?
I did. After speaking with Ms. Scales and putting all that information together, I contacted our road officers and asked them to contact the agencies with jurisdiction, namely Coleraine Township PD and Springfield Township PD, to do attempted locates for Brittany Matthews, Zoe Matthews, and Tiffany Parks, and to take them into custody.
And did that take place?
It did. Coleraine Township actually reached out to us shortly after to let us know that Zoe and Tiffany had actually proactively shown up at their agency to report a domestic. They took them into custody at that time. And then after we sent officers down to retrieve them and the vehicle, we were notified by Springfield Township that they had located the Jeep out on Northern Parkway.
And did that also include locating anybody associated with that Jeep?
Correct. Brittany Matthews was located at that location as well.
And so all 3 of them were able to were they brought to the Mason Police Department at that point?
They were, yes.
They were under your control around when that day?
I'd say around 4:30, a few hours after the assault.
And did Tiffany Parks have a cell phone with her at the time of her arrest?
She did.
And she was able to identify that as her cell phone?
Yes.
Did you do anything with regard to Tiffany Parks' cell phone?
That phone was seized for potential evidence. She provided her passcode after we obtained a search warrant for the phone.
And were you able to do a download of that phone?
Correct. We sent that out to be completed.
Zoe Matthews, did she also have a phone?
She did.
Did she identify that phone as hers as well?
She did.
Did you do or have anything done with regard to Zoe Matthews' phone?
We sent that out as well to be completed. Zoe did not provide her passcode, so the data that we got from that phone was very limited.
Brittany Matthews, did she have a cell phone with her at the time of her arrest?
She did.
Were you able to do anything with regard to Brittany Matthews' phone?
Yes, same thing. We seized it as evidence, obtained a search warrant. Miss Matthews did provide, or Brittany Matthews did provide a passcode for her phone, and we were able to do a forensic download.
Did you then did you obtain possession of the downloads of those specifically? Did you receive the download of Tiffany Parks' phone?
Yes.
Did you have the opportunity to review that download?
Yes.
And what is that? How is that done? What do you receive? How do you review it?
So we receive what's called a portable case. So the forensic analyst will do the data extraction, and then using a tool, I think in this case they used Magnet Forensics Axiom Reader, where they generate a portable case that's more, takes the data and puts it in a more user-friendly interface for the officer to be able to kind of peruse and review.
And so it does, in a nutshell, does that give you the contents of the phone?
Correct.
Does it give you people that she may have had phone calls with?
Correct.
People that she called out to and people that called into her, correct?
Yes, sir.
Would it include text messages that she would have sent and or received?
Yes.
And as part of that, are you able to produce reports of certain information from those phones?
Yes, there are several features where you can filter out specific data that you like, such as text messages or phone calls, and also narrow down the time frame of the date that you're interested in looking at.
going to show you what has been listed as State's Exhibit number 19. Have you had a chance to look at this particular report?
I don't object at this point. It's a lack of foundation. First of all, he didn't perform the forensic evaluation of his phone. He doesn't even know what tool they used. He said, I think they used the magnetic data. He didn't even know which one they used. There's a lack of foundation. And this is hearsay.
Mr. Harden?
I mean, we can finish up with him and we'll bring the guy in that did the download if that's what we need to do, but I think he's sufficiently provided an appropriate foundation to what he did and what he was able to look at. What it's attached to is the phone, and that this is what they received in response.
Yeah, I'm going to sustain the objection based on the foundation that has been established so far.
Okay.
Was a report exchanged with regard to the, I mean,
It was not.
They have the entire phone.
I mean, so was there a report about who was going to testify about the contents of the report?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
There was no report provided. He's putting, well, one, what he's putting up on the, it's my objection, so I'll finish. We've never seen what he's getting ready to put up there, for one. He gave us the entire phone, I think a week ago Friday, and because everyone in the room had difficulty opening it up. And I think at our last pre-trial, that's why you inquired and you wanted more detailed information on what his evidence was going to be off this phone. Because at that point, even the prosecutor's office couldn't open it up.
no, within Lieutenant Lyons' own report, it mentions the specific text messages that we're about to talk about.
Just
that
hearsay.
were reviewed from the phone.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I'm going to sustain the objection because I do not think that there is a proper foundation for the exhibit that you were about to go into.
Okay. Detective, did you have the opportunity to review Tiffany Park's phone?
I did.
Did you see any text messages in Tiffany Park's phone of interest to you?
I did.
What did you see?
I saw several messages between her and Deamber Mitchell. Shortly in the early morning hours of the 24th,
He'll be over in a bit.
Where she is talking about how there appeared to be some altercation in the night prior, leading into the early mornings, where there was some explicit language about, F him from Deamber. It appeared to be talking about Mr. Vinegar. Tiffany spoke about taking the plates off of the car, and Deamber expressed some concerns that the police would take her car if he were to get pulled over. A few hours later, she texted Deamber speaking about how Timothy had spit on her. And then Deamber, I think, responded asking where she was. There was also a message between Tiffany and a person by the name of Chris Ty, as he was saved in her phone. In that message, she stated that she'd been spat on and that she was going to kill Mr. Vinegar.
Did she actually use those words, kill him?
She says, I'm going to kill this N-word.
And
Thank you for not
does
saying
she use Vinny's name in the process of referring to who that N-word is?
Yes.
Were there, earlier we heard about text messages between Tiffany Parks and Vinny's aunt.
Yes.
Were those messages found in there as well?
Yes, the messages that were reflected on the screenshot provided by Paulette were reflected in these messages as well.
Were you also able to examine Tiffany's phone for any telephone calls to anybody of interest to you?
Yes.
And what, if anything, did you see there?
On Tiffany's phone, I don't recall any specific phone calls.
Were there were phone messages that confirmed conversations with Timothy's aunt?
Yes.
Did you have Timothy's mom's phone number? Or did you look for Timothy's mom's phone number in any of those?
I did not look for her phone number, no.
With regard to Brittany's phone, were you able to take a look at that download as well?
Yes.
And were there any text of interest that you saw on August 24th with regard to Brittany?
There were. Right around shortly before this incident occurred on Innovation, it appeared a coworker reached out to Brittany asking why she wasn't at work. Brittany responded that she was dealing with a family emergency. There weren't really any, there aren't any other text messages of note that I remember, but there were multiple calls.
Let's talk about those. What phone calls did you see in Brittany Matthews' phone call?
So before the incident occurred, there was a phone call from Zoe and as well Derek Floyd. And then afterwards, after the assault occurred, there were numerous calls. And these are a mixture of FaceTime and phone calls, I believe. Mostly FaceTime calls to Derek Floyd.
And let's talk about this name, Derek Floyd. Where did that come up? How did that come to the attention of you as part of your investigation?
So, backing up to the evening of the incident, I interviewed Zoe Matthews. And during that interview, she identified Derek Floyd.
Objection.
Overruled. Derek Floyd, Corey Matthews, and DeAmber. She referred to her as DeAmber Fowler. So that was initially where his name first came up. After that, I using some open source intelligence and other means of OLEG and things of that nature, I was able to identify Derek Floyd and match up his image with the person I saw in the video. And I also researched vehicles that were registered to him, and I found the third vehicle that was involved here, the black Mercury.
So talking about the video, so we saw State's Exhibit number 12. Did you become aware of the existence of another video that showed the circumstances of the assault?
Yes, sir.
Showing you what has been marked as State's Exhibit number 11. Does that, let's pull it up.
You know, pain from arthritis is awful. Bone-on-bone, constant pain. But there are effective ways to deal with that pain that does not include drugs or surgery.
So that's a video from a different angle than the one we saw
It may work for you to get you some lasting relief. The place to go is QC Kinetics. QC.
And does it also show individuals heading back to cars and leaving the particular scene?
It does.
I want to show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit number 13 as part of the investigation of the case and the obtaining of those videos. Looking at this, are you familiar with this particular video that was prepared?
Yes.
What is this and how was it prepared?
This is just a zoomed in version of the original video that we saw, created in VLC player, just using a feature inside of that tool.
And it actually combines the two videos that we saw zoomed in as well. Correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And when you talk about being able to identify individuals, did you go, upon receiving names, were you able to identify these individuals as folks that you had already received the names of?
Yes.
The guy in the blue shirt, who were you able to identify that as?
That is Derek Floyd.
No shirt?
Corey Matthews.
The pink shirt?
DeAmber Mitchell.
The blue scrubs walking there in the front?
Brittany Matthews.
The green shirt?
Tiffany Parks.
And then the one walking or running away from the scene at this point across the street?
Zoe Matthews.
Who got into that car as it's driving away?
Derek Floyd and Corey Matthews.
The white Ford behind that, did you observe who got into that car?
Tiffany Parks, DeAmber Mitchell, and Zoe Matthews.
And then the Jeep that was following?
Just Brittany Matthews.
You said Tiffany Parks came back, I'm sorry, Zoe Matthews came back to the was brought back to the police department, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you have contact with Zoe Matthews there?
I did.
And did you have the opportunity to speak with Zoe?
I did.
And was the entire interactions that you had between yourself and Zoe Matthews recorded, both audio and video, that particular day?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as State Exhibit number 27. Does this look familiar to you, Lieutenant?
Yes, sir.
And what is that?
This is a video of the interview I conducted with Zoe Matthews the day of the assault.
This time we'd ask to go ahead and play the interview of Zoe.
So, counsel, I have a question. So we have interview of Tiffany Park, Zoe Matthews, Derek Floyd, Brittany Matthews, and Corey Matthews.
The only one I intend to introduce is Zoe, Your Honor.
Okay. So it's about 40 minutes long. We can all sit here and watch it together if we want. Is there any reason why I shouldn't just watch it? I mean, we're not going to finish today. Is there any reason why I shouldn't just watch it tonight and then we come back for that portion tomorrow? Or does somebody want to sit here while we watch it all?
I have no objection to that.
No objection.
I'm sorry, for my edification, out of all of the tapes, this is the only one you're going to introduce at trial?
Correct.
I'd like to hear it, Judge.
Me too, Your Honor. I'm just concerned, but I'd like to hear it.
You've not heard, this is the first time you're seeing this?
No, it is not. But I'd like to hear it again.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Hardman.
I'll be right back.
Do I understand it's about 36 minutes?
It is. I'm just forwarding it through the first couple minutes of this document.
How old are you?
16.
You got tattoos already?
Yeah, this, I just got this just, that's what I like.
Yeah.
But this is my dad's name.
Okay. What's your dad's name?
Lamont.
All right. You ever been in trouble before?
Only once that was because the girl, she, like, basically beat me up at school. So,
Gotcha. Okay. Nothing like this. Okay. Well, whenever you talk to a police officer, I'm sure you've seen some TV shows and stuff like that, and you've heard somebody like getting read their rights. You ever heard of that? That's a real thing. So before I talk to you, I'm going to read you your rights, okay, and make sure you understand them, and then we're just going to have a conversation. All right. So you have the right to remain silent. Do you understand that right? Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. Do you understand that? You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned. Do you understand that, right? You cannot afford to hire a lawyer. One can be appointed by the court or represent you before any questioning if you wish. Do you understand? If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you still have the right to stop answering any time and consult a lawyer. Do you understand that, right? And in addition to the above, you have the right to have your parents and or guardian with you during questioning. Do you understand that? All right, any questions about any of that?
well, the last one, I only have one parent. My dad died.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Basically, it's a unique.
That's why we all listen to it at home, Mr. Bennett, because it's easier to hear.
If at any time during our conversation you want to stop and want to have your mom present, then we'll stop the conversation. Okay? All right. can I just get you to sign here? That's all that's stating is that I read that to you, and you'll get a copy of this, okay?
It's kind of hard because I can't feel in my hand right here.
Okay, can you use your other hand? Do the best you can. A little ambidextrous going on.
My hand hurts from swinging the bat. Is that what she said?
I'm sorry.
You're fine. No need to apologize. Well, you write better with your wrong hand than I do with my right hand. I can't even read my handwriting.
Yeah, I think they're using a Ring door camera for this room.
So your last name is Matthews.
He's a lefty.
Matthews. What's your birthday?
July 21st, 2008.
Sorry.
What grade you in?
11th.
What school you go to?
Corey.
A high schooler? The baseball man?
All right. What happened to your hand?
Well, my mom, her boyfriend, they were fighting, and he was hitting her, and I got in it, and then he hit me, and so he hit me. He had I don't know what it is, but like it's long, like a crowbar or whatever it is. I don't know. He hit me, and I tried to block it, and it hit my knuckles. So this right here.
This is the daughter?
Did you go to the hospital or anything like that? Did you tell anybody before this that your hand hurt?
I told my mom when everything happened, but we came to the police station, whatever it is. I don't know what it is.
I gotcha. Okay.
This is Zoe.
Well, tell me a little bit about what happened this morning. How that happened. You said they were getting in a fight.
This was last night, but he, I don't know, something's wrong with him, honestly. But he, last night my mom and him went to my mom's friends. I think it was an anniversary party, I think.
Okay.
And they were there, and he had got mad because my mom wanted to leave. She wanted to go home, so he got in the car, was calling her all types of names. And basically he was hitting her in the car on the way home. And she was like, stop the car, let me out, stop the car. He was driving my mom's car. And they got home, he came there and he was like yelling and stuff. And I'm like, I was in my room was upstairs. I was trying to figure out what's going on. So I came downstairs and I'm like, what's going on, what happened? And my mom turned on the light, her mouth bleeding. And he took the keys to the other car we have and drove off. And that was like 12 something. And when
last night?
Yeah, this was last night. My mom left. She was like, I'll be back. She left. She went to my grandmother's house and basically told my grandmother everything that happened. And he came back at like 2 something and he was banging on my door. And I was like, yeah. He was like, where's your mom? I was like, she left. He was like, you need to call her. I was like, why? What happened? And he was like, you need to call her now. And I was just like, okay. So I closed my door back and I locked it. And I called my mom. I was like, he's back and he wants you to be on the phone. And my mom was like, no, because she left, so nothing would happen. Like no fight, them fighting or arguing. And she came back and he stayed and he was just up, like just going through stuff, just up. And she came back at, I don't know, I think it was like 8 in the morning, 7, 8, one of those. She came back and I was upstairs asleep and all I heard was her scream my name. And I come downstairs and I just see a big old cloud of spit on her face. I said, what happened? And she was like, he just spit in my face. I was like, why? He basically went in there with my mom's room and was like, give me a ride to my mom's house now. And he was calling her B-words and all types of stuff. And my mom was like, no, you're not going to keep disrespecting me. Just get out of my house, leave. And he had some bags in his hand and he was acting like he was going to leave out the door, but kept coming back. And my mom was like, you need to leave right now. And he wouldn't leave, so mom told me to go in her room, grab her keys and stuff, because last time it was recently, but last time he took my mom's wallet, ID, everything. So she told me to grab her keys, and I took them. And then that's when he left. He left and went in the room, acted like he was grabbing some stuff or whatever. Came back, and my mom said, "Why do you keep walking around my house? You need to leave." And my mom was on the phone with his mom, telling her everything. She's like, "Well, I have nothing to do with it. I don't know what to say. Just leave." She told her son to leave. He's talking about no, because she gonna keep telling me no. She need to take me where I need to go. Like he just wouldn't leave. So my mom, she was like, "You need to leave my house. I'm gonna call the cops." She was like, "You're just gonna have to call the cops because I'm not leaving." So he got in her face, and my mom said, "Back away from me." My mom pushed him, and he got in her face, and then that's when he hit her. And my mom started hitting him back. She threw my mom on the couch, and they was tussling over the bar, and he was trying to basically like hit my mom. My mom's like this on the couch. He's on top of her, like laying back on her, trying to hit her with the bar. And I'm like, stop. I'm trying to say stop because I didn't want to get between her, get hit. But then he started choking my mom, punching her in her face. And that's when I got in and I punched him and got him off my mom. And I told him to get out. And I told my neighbors to call the cops, but they never called the cops.
Okay. And during that, when he was swinging around, he swung it at you, you said?
Yeah, he hit me because I have my bonnet on. He grabbed me by my hair. That's how my bonnet came off. And then he tried to hit me with the thing, and I went like this.
Okay. Can I see your hand? Is it swollen or anything like that?
It went down, but it was real big before.
You do this. Can I see the side of it? Okay. So after all that went down, did your mom ever end up getting a hold of the bar and hitting him or anything like that, or?
No, she threw it at him.
She threw it at him?
Yeah, when he left out.
So he eventually did leave?
Mm-hmm. And he left and he went walking, and it's like a little cut in our, like, you go up the street and it's like a cut down, like where it ends, and he went that way. And then he just left.
So after that happened this morning, obviously you know why you're sitting here, right? How did all that transpire? I'm assuming you guys followed him up here, but how did you get a hold of everybody else? I'm assuming it was your mom that made phone calls.
So the car, he still has the keys. He has the keys, he has the house keys. And my mom,
he has the key to your mom's car?
No, not my mom's car. My mom has the keys, the other car. He has those keys. And my mom, she called his aunt and was like, "Could you ask your nephew to give me my keys back? Like, he can leave it somewhere and I'll go get it." And he kept telling her, "No, you're not getting nothing back. You're not getting nothing back." So my mom was like, "Okay, well, that's fine." And so they hung up the phone. His aunt called back and said, "Well, I can't find him. I went to that cousin's house." I don't know the cousin name, but the cousin lives like kind of down the street from us. So she was like, "I'm gonna go see if he's there." And that's when his mom called and was like, "Well, he's not here. He's not here." But he was with his aunt the whole time, and his aunt was taking him to his mom's house. And that's when my mom called his aunt back, was like, "Have you found him?" And she said no, but we heard him. So he's like, "They're going to his mom's house." We followed him up there because we seen him coming from his aunt's house that lived in North College Hill. We was going over there, and we seen him getting in the car, and we was like, Mom was like, "Can you give me my keys back?" And he was like, "No, you're not getting them. You're just gonna have to come get them. You're gonna have to come get them yourself. Come get them off me."
So you were in your mom's car? That's the white car, right? Who was with you in that car?
It was just me and my mom.
Okay.
And when I don't know what street it was, but we got off the highway and we by like Shell's, Popeyes. I don't know where that's. It's somewhere up here though.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
We got off of there and they were going to his mom's house. We was gonna go to his mom's house and get our stuff, and we was gonna leave. But once we got out the car, like at the light. We got out the car at the light, and he got out like, "Oh, I want to fight." Like he pulling his pants up, squared up. His aunt talking about no, but his aunt pulled off, and he started swinging on us, and then
So there was you guys were traveling in like 3 cars. There was 2 other cars. There was a white Jeep and a black car. like a black Mercury, and multiple people got out of those cars. How did those people get involved?
I think they were looking at my location. They all had my location. And when I told them, because I was like, he was at home, I called my cousin, and I was like, I got hit. He punched me in my face. He punched me. And she was like, what happened? What? So she called and told me. And probably like relayed back.
So your cousin, is that Brittany Matthews?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So who else showed up? You're saying Brittany called other people after you. So basically, you called Brittany and said that I got hit in the face. We're following him to his mom's house to get our stuff.
I called her when I was at home. I told her that I got hit in the face. She was like, what? Hold on, she was gonna come over here, but she couldn't come. And I was like, hold on, I'll call you back. And I hung up. But them getting there, I don't know. I don't know the two people that, the Mercury or whatever. I just know.
You don't know how they showed up?
No.
If I show you some pictures here. So like this girl here, she got in that car with you and your mom. Who was that?
Oh, that's my cousin.
What's her name?
Deamber.
Deamber?
Mm-hmm.
How you spell that?
Deamber.
What's her last name?
I think it's Fowler.
Fowler?
Yeah, I don't know. She was married at one point in time, so I don't know what she.
How old is she?
I don't know.
She's your cousin? How is she related to you exactly?
That's my mom's cousin. My grandmother's sister.
Your grandmother's sister's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So she's related to your mom.
Mm-hmm.
And you think her name's Fowler?
Yeah.
Like Fowler?
Yes.
Okay. And then let's see. What about this guy?
I think this case shows a lot of adults need conflict resolution skills. We can talk it over. It doesn't have to go nuclear every time.
What about this guy? Kind of hard to see, but I mean, you were there. So, guy in the t-shirt, looks like he's wearing a ball cap, no shoes. He gets into that black car again. Did you see what I'm talking about here? He's right behind you. Can you tell me who that is?
I think they're friends, the two dudes. Or there they are.
Can I be honest with you? I think you know who both those guys are. And you're trying to protect them, which is, I understand. I'm actually really bummed you're sitting here because you're 16 years old. Like this is not fun for me. Someone's never been in trouble before. I want this to go smoothly for you as possible. So as honest and forthcoming as you can be with me, the better this will go. And it's going to help. I mean, we're going to find these two eventually. It's not going to be hard. Like we found you guys in like an hour. It'll just be a matter of time before we do.
There's a little cop flex there.
But I think you know who they are.
Yeah, I think just.
I don't think there's strangers that are going to just show up and beat some dude with a baseball bat because you got hit. I think they care about you and they know you. They're probably your family or close friends. Am I close? So, can you tell me who they are?
They're my cousins.
Okay. Can you tell me their names?
Corey Corey Matthews and Derek Floyd, I think. Derek Floyd.
Okay. Corey Deontay Matthews.
I don't know his middle name. I don't know their middle names.
So just to kind of re-emphasize my point, I already have his name written down here.
We already know.
So I kind of already knew that's probably who that was. So I appreciate the honesty. And I had Derek too, but I had it as Derek Matthews. I didn't have Derek Floyd. So just to show you I wasn't BSing you, we're gonna find out who they are. So I do appreciate you being honest. Look, I'm sorry you went through what you went through last night and this morning. That's not anything that you should have to deal with. But what happened out on the roadway, that's not okay. That's not the right way to handle things. You call the police, they come out, they arrest him, and none of this happens.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I just think my mom was just sick of it because last time we called the police, they didn't do anything. Like they took him to jail, and he got back out.
Let me show you something. Does that look like that was the right thing to do? Someone in the middle of broad daylight. I mean, that's you hitting him with a baseball bat. I see your bonnet.
Yeah, I hit him.
How many times did you hit him?
I think I hit him twice with the bat and his lower body right here. But
Why'd you do that?
because you are a grown man and you're putting your hands on me. You punch me and try to drag me around. No.
You were just mad?
Yes. But if it wasn't like that, like if he did a push, okay, that's just a push. But you punched me in my face.
I get your anger. I do. But unfortunately, that's not the way that we handle things. Okay. What I can do is I will forward this stuff to. Because I can't do anything about what happens in Coleraine. I have no jurisdiction down there. But what I can do is I can, if you'd like, do you want to write a statement about what happened down at your mom's house last night and this morning, and then I can forward that to, you guys live in Coleraine, right? I can forward that to Coleraine and we'll see what they can do about what happened down there. But as for what happened up here, there's some things we have to take care of, okay? You're gonna go to JDC tonight.
What's that?
Juvenile Detention Center.
How long?
I don't know, probably till at least Monday. Because these are, you hit someone with a baseball bat, that's serious. Like he's in very serious condition, like very, very serious. I'm not sure how he's going to turn out if he does at all. So you're going to get a felonious assault charge, which I hate. That sucks. You're 16 years old. That's a total bummer for me. There was a better way to handle this, and I think you got caught up in some adult drama that you probably should have stayed out of, unfortunately. So you seem like a nice kid. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like, this is a serious situation. So I appreciate you being honest with me, like that helps. And when I write everything up, I can write it as if, that you were very cooperative with me and you answered all my questions, you were very forthcoming. And do you think this was the right thing to do, the right way to handle this? You can answer. Yeah. Probably just got caught up in the emotions of the moment, I'm guessing.
I really think that was, but because once it happened, I was just like, wow.
That got out of control. Yeah. All right, do me a favor. Do you want to write a statement about what happened? All right. Just write your name. Well, you can't write with your hand, can you? I'll tell you what, don't worry about it. I'll send them the video, okay? Do you need to see a doctor for your hand?
I don't know, they just...
Can you move your fingers? Okay. All right, just hang tight.
I can't do it for this.
Okay. All right, hang tight for a second, okay?
Now we fast forward.
All right. So I think what we're going to do is one of our officers is going to take you to Children's to have your hands looked at, or your hand looked at, and then once they take a look at you, then they'll take you to JDC, which is over in Lebanon. So I'm assuming you haven't been in JDC before. Okay. So it's not as scary as like adult jail. It's a detention center specifically for juveniles. So you'll be there with other kids.
Under Armour, not a sponsor. Sure.
Not a great place. Do you have any questions for me or anything else you want to say?
Where's my mom?
She's upstairs talking to another officer right now. She's going to go to jail today as well. Not the same place as you. Close. You guys will be near each other, but be different in a different place. Was it the plan to go up and beat him up, or what? I mean, why did we bring baseball bats?
When we got up there and we stopped and we seen him, he got out the car and was trying to swing on us. But once he seen that it was my cousins, Corey and Derek, he was like, "Oh, I'm not fighting them. I'm not fighting them."
He ran away, right?
Corey and him, they swore they were gonna fight and we were gonna let it happen. But Corey has like, I don't know, they like removed a part of his skull. Mm-hmm. So he basically he dropped him. You've seen it in the video. He was on top of him. That's why we ran over there. But that never happened. They just like.
So you initially were gonna let Corey and is it Tim?
Mm-hmm. Timothy.
They were gonna fight.
Yes.
They start fighting. Timothy gets on top of Corey.
Yes, slams him.
And that's when everybody else jumps in.
That's why. But other than that.
So you guys just happen to have bats?
That's because, I don't know. That's just how our family is. We have like tasers, protect ourselves, base in there, but bats. He is known for hitting on females, beating on females. That's another reason why they were mad.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Were there any guns involved?
Not that I know of.
Nobody had a gun? Okay. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you being honest with me. It sounds like a bad situation. I think a lot of people made some bad decisions. You made some bad decisions. I think you got involved in some situations that you probably shouldn't have been involved in at your age. But we'll work through it, okay? All right. I'm gonna stand up. These yours or Ket's? How bad is your hand hurt?
It's just in here. I can.
You can't even squeeze it? Okay. Okay.
Should probably cuff her in front then.
All right. Come with me.
There we go. Big shout out to Alexis, who sent a package of 3 Captain Mowat's hot sauce. It says burning tongues one mouth at a time.
Correct.
How about Tiffany Parks? When was she taken into custody?
She was after she concluded her interview with Detective Sechrist.
Same day, the same of the incident?
Correct.
Brittany Matthews, was she taken in custody that day as well?
She was.
How about Derek Floyd? What did you guys do, or what happened as it resolves around Derek Floyd?
He was not taken into custody that night. The next morning, Monday morning, when I returned back to duty, I worked to confirm his identity, tied him to the vehicle, as I mentioned earlier, and then I obtained an arrest warrant for him.
And so that was on Monday?
Correct.
Was he arrested Monday, or when
Yes.
did? How about the defendant?
D'Amber.
D'Amber. Thank you.
An arrest warrant was obtained for her on Monday as well. Same thing. I worked to confirm her identity on Monday. Obtained an arrest warrant. But she did not. She turned herself in a while later, a week or two maybe.
Okay. And then finally, Corey Matthews.
Same thing. Corey had an arrest warrant that day as well. We were not able to locate him for quite a while. We actually requested the assistance of like a fugitive task force team, and they were able to find him, I think, a couple weeks into September.
Thank you, Lieutenant. No further questions, Joe.
Judge, before we start the cross, can I get a quick bathroom break?
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's come back at 20 after.
15-minute bathroom break. I think it's the same judge keeps asking for the bathroom. The same lawyer needs the breaks.
You got another piece?
Whoa, what did he just throw in the garbage? He just threw something. Check and see what he threw there. Let's see, import new media. There's 80. Okay, take a look at this real quick. As they were leaving court, let's see, actually it's going to be on 7. There we go. So they're leaving court. People are getting up and walking out. Watch the tall lawyer here. First the shorter one goes. Tall one's got something in his left hand or his right hand. Switches hands. I think he's aiming for the garbage. Let's see if he makes it in. He's got something. Alley-oop. Whoosh. Oh, barely. That last piece. Nope, it missed. It missed. It went off the edge. Went off the edge. And you can see it on the floor right here next to the garbage can. One of his notes got shredded. He was so close. I mean, that's probably 1 foot from the garbage. He gets one piece in. Let's zoom in and look at this. This is important stuff, guys, we're doing here. You don't get this anywhere else. Let's see, where are we at? Right up here. Okay, we're going to be right here and zoom in a little bit and slide over a little bit. There we go. So, okay, fast forward. I think I zoomed in just a tiny bit too far. Zoom out. There we go. Okay, there's our garbage. We're watching the garbage. Ready? So let's back up a little bit because I think I missed him coming in. Okay. The shorter guy goes out first right here. And now our tall guy is walking up. Watch the garbage hand off. He switches from right hand to left hand, reaches out for the alley-oop. Could have been a dunk with how close he is. Oh, no, he didn't realize they shifted again. Reaches down, Open hand, could have been the slam there. Hung on the rim. There's one. And the other one just goes right over the edge. It just floats on him on the last bit. Goes right over the edge. Now watch next to the garbage when we take this next cut. If we look, I have to move it up a little bit further. Next to the garbage on the ground. Right in there, there's a little piece of bright yellow or something. This is important stuff, guys. We have to know. It might have been a candy wrapper, sweets wrapper. What's the verdict on the bathroom? I passed my inspection, which is amazing. Made a recommendation that I do things very differently than how I've done it. He's like, oh, you just tear this out, cut this down, then you won't have this problem. I'm like, well, I spent 3 weeks getting to this point, and you're asking me to start over on that. So I would say, no, I'm not going to do that. But let's see. All right. Alexis, by the way, thank you very much. Awesome. Amazing shirt. Captain Mowat's Maine hot sauce from Portland, Maine. This is CM on the front. Beautiful color. And 3 incredibly hot sauce. I think these are like Ian Runkle level hot sauce. Yeah. All right. Where we are today, here's what we know. We know from court that we're not going to get done with this case today, which means we're going to leave it hanging a little bit. Not a big fan of that, but it is what it is. We're going to go back and be joining the case up in Michigan tomorrow with the quadruple threat wife trial. Don't drink at this time. No. I'm going to go very, very gentle on this. You can watch it on the weekend if you want. The problem is I need to record this one while it happens. This court deletes everything as the second it's done. So if we don't watch it live, we don't get it. So if I record that... Yeah, I think it'll work. We can make it work. I can record this tomorrow. Did they say what day they're going to finish? Kaylee quadruple threat. Welcome. We got a little bit of break, a little bathroom break while the lawyers go to the little lawyers room to get some hand washing done. I think is what they're going to be doing. Hot sauce on scrambled eggs. Now a certified plumber. Let me say this. He walked in, and like the floor is solid. I mean, that floor before it, like you take a step and it was soft. Like the joists would just flex. It was like having a what are they called? Those shoes that nurses wear that are a little soft all day. They cushion your feet. It's like having those on your feet all the time. And now those joists rock solid, brand new, steady. The floor, not a squeak, not a wiggle, nothing. It's perfect. I am going to pour some leveler on it before we put the flooring down, just because I know I've got a little bit of a dip on one of the joists. They weren't perfectly level. But I am certifiable. Yes, I am. It's just interesting little trial. The defendant doesn't want to be here. His family doesn't like the other. They're sitting on opposite sides, but he still lives with Tiffany. Laura M., we've got a couple cases going on. Here's what I know. Karen Reed is still going to be going on when Corey Richens starts. So I don't know how we can cover everything at once, other than just staying up all night and doing 16-hour streams, which is a possibility. But I'm watching Lori Vallow. I'm watching Karen Reed. I'm watching Corey Richens. Those are the big ones that are all going to be overlapping in one way or another. I'm glad they don't overlap with Brian Koberger. But I vote 16-hour streams. When is Corey Richmond trial? 21st of April, I believe, is the start for her. It looks like, I don't know if the judge has ruled on her motion to have a change of venue. If there is a change of venue granted, which is really late in the day to be doing this, as far as the trial schedule goes, because she's just starting in 3 weeks. If she does a change of venue now, it will definitely put a delay in there again, which could make her potentially overlap with Brian Kohberger, which would be terrible. So we're waiting on a ruling there. If you've heard anything about that one, because I haven't been following all the little hearings in that case, if the judge has made any rulings that you've heard, you'd know it's him because he's got a beautiful, deep voice, rumbly voice. Let me know, because if it's going to Salt Lake County, that might change everything. If you have to choose between KR and BK, well, if it was Karen Reed and BK, it would be BK hands down. If it's Corey Richards and BK, it would be 16-hour streams. I'm there for both. We've got Lori Vallow as well, and if we can do it, specifically without mocking people's religion, if we can do that, I'd be okay with covering Lori Vallow. Who else is covering Karen Reed trial? If you don't cover Linda, Brandy Church will be covering it on our new channel. BK is until summer. He's in August. Lori Vallow's 6 weeks. Yeah, Crime Junkie Jury is the new channel that Brandy Church will be on for the Karen Reed trial. Tons of people are carrying Karen Reed. There are. Myron, I'm interested in her mom as well. She's got some interesting history. Lori Vallow deserves to be mocked, yes, but the religion she's made fun of does not, and people who believe that do not, and that's where I draw the line. So in Lori's case right now, let me tell you what's happening right now. I believe they're starting jury selection today. At 1:30 today, there was a hearing for Nate Eaton, who is the reporter from East Idaho that has been following this case from the get-go, followed them over to Hawaii and everything. He's been called, subpoenaed as a witness with the sequestration rule in place, which would mean he would not be allowed to talk to anyone or watch the trial or anything. That's his job. He's a reporter, and he follows this case, and there's a hearing today. I'm waiting to hear what the results were from that. There actually might be something up on Twitter here soon. He wants to basically be exempt from that, saying, hey, I don't have any inside information about what happened in this case. I'm a nobody. I didn't see any of these crimes. I'm not. You coming at me and saying we're putting you on the witness list is just punishing me for doing my job as a reporter, and that's not fair. So, no ruling yet in the Corey Richards. Okay. So what we might do is the first one that starts, we might pick it up and watch it a little bit, but then prioritize Lori Vallow and then Corey Richards. Yeah. Nate's at Lori Vallow. He's good. He's fantastic. Gigi, Pretty Lies and Alibis is going to be there as well. You've got some other reporters, some Fox, I think it's Fox 10 down there, that are doing a good job covering this. I'm okay with delays. It's not a problem. Yeah, I heard that the hearing was happening today at 1:30. I guess that's basically in 10 minutes, I think. They're looking at the clock because that's Mountain Time, right? Oh, so it's an hour. He's got some time. Okay, everyone's swiping left during the little break here. I think the judge should be coming back here soon. A million different cameras in this courtroom, and the color balance is off on all of them. They're all over the place. Like that one's too blue. This one's got way too much blue in that one. Too bright as well. Selena, thank you. You sent me something on the phone. Oh my goodness. My phone just blew up. That's the trial thing. No one can see my messages. Alexis, no one can see your messages? Let's see. Did you say something naughty that got you in the timeout? The timeout chat. Let me check and see where you're at. Just looking to see if I can fix this for Alexis. We should be coming back from break about right now, if the judge is prompt. Scared me.
So for planning purposes, I think I want to call it today around 4. Do we think that gives us enough time to finish with this witness? I don't want to rush anybody. I'm just trying to figure out
I think so.
if we're coming
I
back.
My colleagues are.
And Mr. Hartman, is that all we have for today then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Lewis, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, I am going to make one ruling, though, with regard to the statement of Zoe Matthews. I find that that statement is only admissible against Zoe Matthews and is not admissible against any of the other co-defendants.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So you can conduct your cross-examination with that in mind.
Thank you. Detective, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Carl Lewis, and I represent the Amber Mitchell. First of all, I want to thank you very much for the respect and courtesy shown to that young lady on the interview. My question for you, and I think I asked the state to cue this up for me if the state could respectfully queue up State's Exhibit 27 and play the last portion of that. Before we get to that, you had exited the room and returned, correct?
Yes, sir.
You conducted your interview of the young lady?
Yes, sir.
Matthews, and returned, I guess you did, from what I heard in your direct and of the video, is that you were trying to seek medical attention for the young lady.
When I stepped out of the room, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I contacted the patrol officer who'd be responsible for transporting her and was advising him that her hand was injured and that she'd need to go to Children's Hospital first.
Okay. Court's permission to publish again number 27, if you can play from where it's queued up.
And then once they take a look at you, then they'll take you to JDC, which is over in Lebanon. So I'm assuming you haven't been in JDC before. Okay. So it's not as scary as like adult jail. It's a detention center specifically for juveniles who would be there with other kids. But it's not a great place. Do you have any questions for me or anything else you want to say?
Where's my mom?
She's upstairs talking to another officer right now. She's gonna go to jail today as well. Not the same place as you. Close. You guys will be near each other, but be different in a different place. Was it the plan to go up and beat him up or what? I mean, why did we bring baseball bats?
When we got up there and we stopped and we seen him, he got out the car and was trying to swing on us. But once he seen that it was my cousins, Corey and Derek, he was like, "Oh, I'm not fighting them. I'm not fighting them."
He ran away, right?
Corey.
In response to your question to
Mr. Lewis, I'm confused.
Yeah, right.
So if the statement is being offered only against Ms. Matthews, well, it's only being accepted as Ms. Matthews, is it your intent to use this as evidence in your case?
No, Your Honor, one moment.
Okay.
Judge's like, were you not paying attention when I said that only counts against her, not against anyone else? And you're not her lawyer? Kimbers, this is Ohio.
Nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
Mr. Catherine?
Lieutenant, did you find Zoe Matthews to be truthful with you?
Yes, I think initially she tried to hide the identities of a couple of the individuals involved, but eventually, yes, I found her to be.
Right, and she reluctantly gave up these names, but
Correct.
she did, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and did you find her being truthful to you when she said there was no guns involved?
Correct. I had no evidence at the time that there was any firearms involved.
And so I'm assuming then you found her to be truthful at the end when she said there was no plan.
Mr. Kathman, same question as I asked Mr. Lewis, because this is only, oh wait, this is coming against.
Yeah, this is my
Go
girl.
ahead.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
Did find her to be truthful when she said there was no plan. They went up there with no plan.
Ryan, it's good to see you.
I'm not sure I bought that line. I think that kind of went back to where she initially was trying to protect some of the others involved.
Well, she's named everyone. You've shown her a video. I think protecting people, wouldn't you agree with me, is kind of flown out the window at this point.
The identities, yeah.
Okay. All right. That's all the questions I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Hughes?
You had testified about some phone messages.
Yes, sir.
You didn't interview Ms. Parks, right?
I did not.
You didn't look in through her phone.
I looked through the image from the phone, the download.
You looked at the download?
Correct.
Okay, so you never actually saw her phone?
No, sir.
And I want to
it's
move
the
to
same
strike his previous testimony. I believe that was not clarified when Mr. Hardman was asking him questions.
Mr. Hardman?
I think he testified to what he solemnly observed, so we'll leave it at that.
Through a download that you excluded.
So you didn't actually see the physical text message, you only saw the download or whatever it is, the report.
Correct.
So you didn't see the physical phone?
When we seized the phone, I saw the physical phone. But as far as the data goes, no, I just saw the data extraction.
Okay, I am going to grant your request to strike that particular part of his testimony.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Whoa.
No
That was
questions, Your Honor.
effective. Now the state
Judge,
needs
for
to
my
get.
edification, I'm sorry, you just struck a part of the testimony, and I'm trying to determine exactly what part of his testimony was stricken from the record and won't be considered by the court.
His testimony that there were, that he, and my note was that he reviewed text messages from Ms. Tiffany Parks' phone, that the text between Tiffany and DeAmber, that there were texts between Tiffany and somebody named Chris, and that there were multiple calls from Zoe, Derek Floyd before the incident, and after the incident there were FaceTime and phone calls to Derek Floyd.
Basically, the
I'm
aiding
not
and
going to
abetting.
consider any of that evidence based
Just
upon the
disappeared.
foundation that we have so far.
Well, Judge, I don't have questions about that subject or issue, but I do have some other questions, even though
Go ahead.
he testified about Zoe Matthews.
That's a big win for the defense. Until the
So
state
when
can
you
bring it in.
interviewed Ms. Matthews, she wasn't as forthcoming as you thought she should have been initially, at some point, right?
Initially, yes, sir.
And that was with respect to Corey and Derek, right? She said she didn't know the males.
Yes, sir.
Then eventually she told you the males, correct?
Yes, sir.
And everything else she was pretty straightforward with, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then sometime after she became more candid and straightforward about the two black men that happened to be cousins, you asked her at the end of the interview about whether or not there was a plan.
Yes, sir.
Right. And she categorically said no, there was no plan. You remember saying that?
That is what she said, yes.
Excuse me?
That's what she said.
Yes, she
yes.
said there was no plan. No, there was no
So,
plan.
Mr. Bennett, I'm going to ask you the same question that I mistakenly asked to Mr. Kathman and that I asked to Mr. Lewis is, given that these statements are not being offered against Brittany Matthews, are you offering this statement?
I thought about it, and I am. I'm offering that statement because I think that it establishes that there was no complicity and they're not acting in concert, which is an allegation and a theory that the state has made. There was also a comment that Brittany Matthews at some point communicated with Zoe. And so I think what Zoe is saying is relevant with respect to that critical issue of complicity and acting in concert.
So with regard to the statement will be admitted now against Zoe Matthews and against Brittany Matthews only. It will not be considered against any of the other defendants. Go ahead, Mr. Bennett.
And she said there was no plan to go up there and beat them up, right?
Yes.
And then she told you basically what happened. We went up there to get our property or to get our keys. She said that too, correct?
Yes.
And then when we got there, Corey got out of the car and the victim, Timothy Vinegar, got out of the car and then Timothy swung on him and they began to fight, correct?
Yes.
She told you that, correct? And then she also said that I think Corey had some type of brain issue and was being beat up by Tim. Remember saying that?
Yes.
And then that's when other individuals got involved.
Yes.
She said that also, correct? But the main reason why they were in Mason as compared to anywhere else is because they were trying to get their property back, right?
Yes.
They had no plan, but they brought bats just in case there was a ball game. 'Cause that's just how the family
No further
rolls.
questions,
Mrs. Straussky?
Good afternoon, Detective Williams. I'm Andrew Ostrowski. I represent Corey Matthews. You have reviewed States Exhibit 11, 12, and 13, which are the videos, correct?
Yes.
And you also spoke to Mr. Vinegar, correct?
Yes.
During the course of your investigation, did you ever see evidence of 3 baseball bats at the scene?
No, ma'am.
And it's fair to say that Mason police officers were on the scene quickly after the 6 individuals left the scene, correct?
Yes.
And it's fair to say that during the course of your investigation, you were looking for baseball bats, correct?
We did look for baseball bats. Yes.
To your knowledge, during the course of your investigation, did the officers on the scene look in that area for baseball bats?
Yes.
Did any baseball bats, were they ever recovered?
No.
So, when you spoke to Mr. Vinegar prior to today, did he ever tell you that he hit Mr. Corey Matthews first?
He said that in his initial interview with me, he said that they ran up on him and like fists started flying, something along those lines, and that the girls got out with baseball bats and then he ran across the street to get away from his aunt.
So in answer to my question, was the first time you heard Mr. Vinegar say that he hit my client unprovoked was in court today?
Objection. That's not what he said. He didn't say what he said.
Overruled. Go ahead and answer if you can.
Finally,
The
object.
first time that I heard him say he hit Corey in the face was today.
Okay. And you heard him say in court today that my client didn't speak to him, correct?
Yes.
And my client didn't initially touch him, correct?
Now the victim's paying attention.
Correct.
He
Do you
perked up.
have any evidence to refute Mr. Vinegar's statements?
No.
Okay. Can we see State's Exhibit 13, the first 8 seconds?
First 8 seconds, because after that it looks really bad for my client.
So this is the zoomed in video, officer.
Should we call the cops?
So the first, would you stop it? Oh, too far. Oh, stop.
Too far.
Okay,
Stop.
yeah.
Stop. Stop.
Is he not like unconscious yet?
Thank you so much. All right. So I want to stop it.
Yes, you want to stop it.
Should we call the cops?
Okay.
Your client is
So-
looking really bad in that video.
You would agree we are 6 seconds into this zoomed in video, correct?
Yes.
And you've identified my client as the shirtless gentleman with gray shorts, correct?
Correct.
And when the video starts, he's on the ground with Mr. Vinegar on top of him, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And we see the lady on the left-hand side with a baseball bat in her hand, correct?
Yes.
And we see the gentleman with the gray shirt with a baseball bat in his hand, correct?
Yes.
So there's 2 baseball bats being used in this incident, correct?
Correct.
So when my client gets up, he does not have a baseball bat in his hand, correct?
Correct.
So when Mr. Vinegar testified that my client had a baseball bat and he was fighting him on the ground, the evidence actually disputes that, correct?
No, it's just later on.
Because there's no third baseball bat.
That is correct.
So Mr. Vinegar was on top of my client, beating on him, and my client was unarmed at that point, correct?
I wouldn't agree with that first assertion. I don't see Mr. Vinegar, any strikes being thrown from Mr. Vinegar. That baseball bat that is in Zoe's hand currently was on the ground next to those 2.
She's using it to beat him.
She picked it up off the ground and then beat him.
Mr. Strasky, doesn't the video speak for itself in this?
Yes,
It does, Your Honor.
Let's move on then.
My client was not the registered owner of any of the vehicles, correct?
That is correct.
And you also confiscated his phone, correct?
Correct.
And there were no text messages or phone calls that you could correlate where he instituted any sort of plan, correct?
Correct. That phone was nothing prior to an early date in September. So it was either a new phone or it had been data wiped.
Do you have any messages from my client to any of these other 5 individuals?
No.
Nothing else, Your Honor?
Mr. Hardman?
No further questions, Your Honor.
Anybody else have anything else?
Judge, I don't have any questions, but I would ask that Ms. Matthews' statement also be then considered against my client as well.
Okay. All right, thank you. You can step down. All right. Next witness, or we can break in for, let's break for the.
Your Honor, we will need a break for the day. Detective Beheimer wouldn't be available until tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Who's Detective Beheimer?
She did the download of the phone.
And which discovery list was he listed as a witness?
Detective Beheimer, Casey Beheimer with the Basin Police Department is on the discovery list.
Okay.
That's how they're getting
All right,
that document back
so-
in.
Look at the docket for tomorrow.
Judge is looking at the schedule real quick.
Makes sense to start at 9 o'clock. Right?
That sounds good, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. We talked to the attorneys for a couple of minutes off the record for planning purposes. We'll see everybody back here 9 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
Apparently, everyone says
I'm gonna take you out.
everyone says it's self-defense. I think that's what's happening. Everyone says it's self-defense. The victim was being chased in a car. Got out and said, "Why are you guys chasing me?" And people jumped out and wanted to swing on him. So he threw a couple punches and then decided when the girls got out of the car with the bats that he was not up for fighting anymore, tried to run away. Got attacked there by pretty much everybody, beaten unconscious. But the people who beat him unconscious are saying this was self-defense because he came at us and we just happened to have bats. So this is terrible. This is terrible. Why did the judge just dismiss for the day? Because they don't have any more witnesses for today. The next witness they have, the detective who did the download, he's going to be the guy that can authenticate. He probably should have come first. He's going to be the guy who can authenticate the extraction from the cell phones. And once that's authenticated, then we can look at the document that has all the data, and then we can look at the text messages, and all that comes back in, and the judge might recursively reconsider the testimony that came from this detective, which he currently struck. So we are going to be going back to, thank you for this one, for the reminder. We are going to be going back to Michigan tomorrow. I'll see if we can record this case tomorrow, and we'll try. We'll see if we can follow this, and we'll keep updates on this. But let's see. Mod Chat Mathis sent us a song for our Michigan case, our quadruple threat. And we're going to play that just briefly. I have not heard this before, but he's done pretty well in other ones. So here we go. Let's give it a listen, shall we?
Folks, my story begins with the day that I died. I've been trying to find out about the how and the why, but the problem is this: when I get to the end, I got questions left, so I say let's try again. Could it be, is my wife a triple threat? Fire, steel, and poison haven't finished yet. Tried to burn me, run me down. Did she put me 6 feet underground? You see, my wife was on trial back in the day, and they said she is guilty and they locked her away. But she said that's not fair, and some judges agreed. Lawyers for both sides were told to take heed. Try again. It all started with the fire Motor running, spinning tires. Was it love gone bad? This is driving me mad. Was it poison she used? I'm just really confused. Come on, help find me rest. Is this really your best? Ooh. My love got a new boyfriend. He was talking to a witness who has since been arrested. I guess life gives second chances, except when someone destroys the evidence you tested. Now please pay attention, because these words are quite new. A scintilla hits you out of the blue. Explain to me what's geographics is an ambulance, something going through traffic's if an echo line is something you don't know. Don't make estimations, just take it slow. You can take it any histamine, and if you ain't ready, so am I. It all started with the fire, motor running, spinning tires. Was it love gone bad? This is driving me mad. Was it poison she used? I'm just really confused. Come on, help find me rest. Is this really your best? Try again.
Wow, Mathis.
Was it gasoline or weed on the scene? Did I uncover my wife's new forbidden romance? Judge, I'm trying to keep up. Give me just one more chance. If you're part of the jury, try to follow along. I will be trying my best. I'll be singing this song. It all started with the fire, motor running, spinning tires. Was it love gone bad? This is driving me mad. Was it poison she used? I'm just really confused. Come on, help find me rest. Is this really your best? Try again.
It's bigger than you. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than all of us.
All right, Mathis, thank you. Thank you very much for that. Quick reminder as to what the trial is about. He managed to get all the words. We are counting in this trial the number of times words that are not words are used in the trial. I think, I forget where we're up to. I'll have to check. Actually, I've got it over here. It's right here. We're up to 13. We're up to 13 words. Yeah, I can show you on this. It's 13. 13 times that somebody has said a word that is not a word, but used it as if it was in the trial. And we are keeping track of them. And Mathis managed to fit every single one of them into that song. What YouTube channel is this trial on, please? Genjo, the one we're watching right now? So you want to follow this one, right? That's what you're saying. And this is an amazing channel. Let me... found by Josh. This is a new one. This is Warren County Common Pleas Court, Courtroom 3 live stream. So Warren County Common Pleas Court, Courtroom 3. So what I'm going to do is tomorrow we're going to try to catch this. They're going to start at 9 o'clock. I'm going to start that recording, and then we're going to be going back to the quadruple threat trial. And then we'll maybe during a break, or if they break early, we'll catch up on what happened in this one so we can see how this one ends. Mathis, do you use AI for the voice and the music? I know you write the lyrics. Yes, it's AI for the voice and the music. Suno does it. Caitlin Newell says, Rachel Morin trial, jury selection starts tomorrow. Oh my goodness, so many going on right now. Lori Vallow is going on as well with jury selection. It might take a little bit longer than Rachel Morin's, not sure. Plus, is a toxic relationship with Mr. Vinegar and his relationship. Yeah. It says, I think I managed to fit in the first 8. It was great. Scintilla is my favorite. So, lots of juries being picked tomorrow and today, throughout this week, and maybe over the next couple weeks as trial moves forward. As Karen Reed's trial is beginning as well. They're going to spend a couple weeks picking a jury, I think, as well. All right. Anything else? It's a trial cyclone. If Ryan Hall reported on important cases going on, he would be live streaming right now because there's so many happening. Looks like everyone's leaving for the day in court. They're all going home. All the defense files past the state. No hard feelings. It's just a job. So the Rachel trial will be quick, plenty of evidence. Where is it at? Where's that one out of? Karen Reed's going to take forever to seat. The family that beats boyfriends together stays together in jail, I guess. JB, they're together still. That's the amazing part. They are. So, that being said, we'll save that for later. Rachel case is in Maryland. Yeah, it's a toxic TV situation for sure. Anything else we need to talk about today before we call it a day? I know it's a little bit early, but I'm ready to give the bathroom another go as far as the remodeling goes. I'm excited that my contractor friend says, yeah, it's pretty good. I'm like, yay. Nothing I've ever built is pretty good when it comes to construction before. Trial is over for the day. Yes, it is. I don't know if we've got... Let's see. Let's see. What's happening with what's happening here? Warren County has a couple courtrooms. Check this one out. This one's smaller. It's also live. Tons of cameras in this one as well. Interesting. We'll have to revisit Ohio a little bit now that we know where they're at. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, mods. Appreciate it. I had a little bit of work to do today. You guys did fabulous. Fabulous. I'm ready for them. I had a wonderful weekend. Did I say ready for the weekend? I was thinking about this past weekend. And I'm ready for the next weekend. You're out all week long. Wouldn't it be amazing if we woke up and tomorrow was Friday, though? Wouldn't that just be like best week ever? All right. Maybe I need a little more sleep. Tonight, when you go home, please hug the people you love. Smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better. Please stay safe till we go live again tomorrow morning, bright and early. We've got to be going by about 8:45. I'm thinking. I forget. I'm not sure when Michigan starts in the quadruple threat trial. Are they still Eastern time or are they Central? I thought they were Central. They might begin at 10. Right. Either way, we're going to start early and get things going. It's going to be a Tuesday. Have a fabulous evening. We'll see you in the morning. Bye-bye.